Hello everyone. In this video we will talk about the rectangular coordinate system on the plane. Let's pretend that this white screen is the plane, and on this plane I have a point, and I would like to identify the exact location of this point. Well, at this moment I can't. So how can I do so? What can I do to be able to locate a point on the plane? One of the ways to be able to do so is by introducing a rectangular coordinate system into the plane. Question is, how can I do so, and what am I going to need for that? To be able to do so, I'm going to need two number lines. Quick reminder, a number line is the line on which each point corresponds to a certain number. So let's pretend that this is my number line, and I'm going to mark this point as 0. Now, every point on the right is going to correspond to a certain positive number. And as I'm going to be moving farther from 0 to the right, these numbers are going to be increasing. And every point on the left is going to correspond to a certain negative number. And as I'm moving farther to the left from 0, the numbers are going to be decreasing. So that is a number line. So I'm going to take two of them, and I'm going to intersect them at their 0 points at the 90-degree angle, which is also called right angle. And I'm going to introduce them into my plane like that. So we said we're going to intersect them at their 0 points, and I'm going to mark few numbers on each number line. 1, 2, 3, 4. And this is going to be -1, -2, -3, -4. That's the horizontal one. Now for the vertical, I'm going to mark positive numbers above 0. And negative numbers below 0. Now, the horizontal number line is going to be called x-axis, and the vertical number line we're going to call y-axis. In the future, we're just going to label them as x and y, and the point of intersection is called the origin. Now I have the tool that will help me to identify the location, the exact location of every point on this plane, and vice versa. Knowing what the location is, I'm going to be able to mark it on the plane. And let me show how I'm going to do so. So this is a slightly better version of my coordinate plane. X-axis, y-axis, the point of intersection, the origin, and let me mark a unit on each axis. And I'm going to mark a point. Now, how am I going to identify the location of this point? 2 steps. First, I'm going to draw a vertical line from that point until it intersects the x-axis, and I'm going to see at what number this line will intersect the x-axis. I can see on my drawing that is 1. This is going to be the x-coordinate of my point. The second step is to draw a horizontal line until it intersects the y-axis, and I see it intersects it at 4. So that is going to be the y-coordinate of my point. Now, how am I going to record it? How am I going to write it down? There is a specific way to write down the coordinates of the point. We also are going to call them ordered pairs. So first of all, I'm going to use parentheses, and I'm going to separate them with comma. And the first one is always going to be the x-coordinate, and the second is always going to be the y-coordinate. x, y. Now, if you would write down just as 1, 4, that I would not be able to understand that this is actually an ordered pair that identifies the point on the plane. But if you put parentheses around that, that I would know right away that it is a point on the plane. Let's mark a few more points and find their coordinates. So let's say I have this point. Okay, let me see, not so fast. There you go. So I'm going to take this one. And first I'm going to draw a vertical line. Okay, this is -1. Let's see what number do I have here on my x-axis. -1, -2, -3, -4, -5. And this is my x coordinate. For my y coordinate, I'm going to draw the horizontal line, and I can see it intersects it at 3. So the coordinates of this point are -5, 3. Then if I take the point here, and I draw first a vertical line to find the x coordinate, I see it's going to be -2. And the horizontal line will intersect the y-axis at -2 as well. So the coordinates of this point, -2, -2. And let's say I'm going to take a point here. Okay, let's see what's the x coordinate. Looks like 6. And the y coordinate, it's going to be, I should go the other way around. Let's see. But I can see that this is going to be -1. So the coordinates of this point, 6, -1. What if I take a point on the x-axis? Let's see what happens then. Well, I don't need to draw any vertical line because the point is already on the x-axis, and I see that on x-axis it's at the point with number 3. Now for y coordinates, again, I don't have to draw any horizontal line, though I could. And then if I, formally did so, then I would hit my y-axis at number 0. So the coordinates of this point are 3, 0. What about this one? What can I see? Again, the x coordinate is 6 and the y coordinate is 0. Now, what about this one? X coordinate is -2 and y coordinate is 0. For this one, x coordinate is -5 and y coordinate is 0. And just, let's try this one. Because formally, this point lays on, x-axis and y-axis, right? So I'm going to view it as one of the points on x-axis. The coordinates of this one is 0, 0. So what can I see? And what can I assume and conclude and generalize about the points that are going to lay on x-axis? I see that all of them, at least the ones that I marked, have y coordinate that is 0. So we can actually generalize that every point on x-axis, or all the points on x-axis, all points on x-axis have y coordinate that is equal to 0. Now let's look at points that are going to be located on y-axis. So let's say I have this point. So what can I say? If I draw the vertical line, which is already actually there, I can see that it's going to intersect my x-axis at 0. So the x coordinate of this point is 0. And the y coordinate, for y coordinate, I don't have to draw any horizontal line because it's already on y-axis. And it is -1, -2, -3, -4, -5. So the coordinates of this point is 0, -5. Now let me try a couple more points. Let's say I take this one. So what do I see? X coordinate is 0, y coordinate -3. Let's take this one. X coordinate is 0 and y coordinate is 6. So now let's look at all these points. Actually 0, 0 also lays on y-axis, and we can take it in account as well. And what do I see? That all these points that are actually on y-axis have x coordinate equals 0. And I'm going to take a note of it. All points on y-axis have x coordinate that is equal 0. Okay, so this is great. Now, the question is, what if I have an ordered pair? How can I locate the point? Well, let's do it here. So how do I locate a point given an ordered pair? X, Y. So let's say I have few ordered pairs that I want to use. 3, -5, -4, 0, -5, 2, 3, 4, -5, -5, and let's say 0, 3. So to locate a point given the ordered pair, I'm always going to start at the origin. Again, I'm going to mark units just to be certain how to locate a certain point on the number line. So let's start with the first one, 3, -5. So started from the origin. First, I'm going to move in the horizontal direction according to my x coordinate. My x coordinate is 3, right? So let me label them x, y. So that means I have to move to the right 3 units. And then from that point, I'm going to move according to my y coordinate. My y coordinate is -5. So where is going to be -5? Right here. So I have to move 5 units down. So here is my first point with coordinates 3, -5. Let's go to the next one, -4, 0. First, I have to move 4 units to the left into my horizontal direction. So this is -4. And then the y coordinate of that point is 0. So I don't go up or down. So I'm going to stay here on the x-axis. Remember, we just said all points on x-axis have y coordinate equals 0. So that's another example of that. Okay, so next is -5, 2. Again, started at the origin. I'm going to move 5 units to the left. And from here, I'm going to move 2 units up according to my y coordinate. So this is the point with coordinates -5, 2. Next one, 3, 4. So remember, the first one is x, the second y. So that means I have to move 3 units to the right and 4 units up. So let's mark here 4. So this is the point with coordinates 3, 4. -5, -5. 5 units to the left and 5 units down. I wish I had this a little bit, drawn a little bit nicer, but I think that would work. And then 0, 3. 0, again, starts at the origin. 0 means no motion in horizontal direction. And 3 means that I have to go 3 units up. And what do I see? It's a point on y-axis. Well, it should be because its x-coordinate is equal to 0. And that's how I locate points given the order pair, an order pair. Now, what else I would like to add to finish this video is we can see that this x and y axis divide the coordinate plane into 4 quadrants. So we are going to label them as, just a second, there we go, the wrong direction, sorry. So this one is going to be the first one. This one is going to be the second, the third, and the fourth quadrant. Now I can see that the point that I have here in the first quadrant has coordinates 3, 4. The point in the second quadrant has coordinates -5, 2. So what do I see? I see that in the first quadrant, the point that I have both coordinates that are positive. And we can say that every point in the first quadrant is going to have both coordinates positive. The point in the second quadrant has x-coordinate negative and y positive. And I can actually say that every point in the second quadrant is going to have x-coordinate negative and y positive. For the third one, both coordinates are negative. And for the fourth one, x positive, y negative. So if I'm given an order pair, let's say 3, -2, and without even locating point, I can say right away, oh, that is the point in fourth quadrant. Why is that? Because the x is positive and the y is negative. But let's say I'm given the point -3, -2, then I can say right away that this is the point in the third quadrant because both coordinates are negative. And what about the point 0, 5? Well, 0, 5 is not in any quadrant because that's the point on y-axis. And what about 5, 0? Again, it's not in any quadrant because it's on the x-axis. And with this, I would like to finish my first video, and I'm going to see you in my next video, where I'm going to talk about linear equations.